Hi folks, welcome back to MetaBox Tutorials. Today, we're going to create a timeline page using MetaBox and bricks. You can use this type of content to show the timeline of an event, roadmap, history, and so on. A logical and clear timeline can help the visitors get information easily. This single page is an example. It shows multiple changes to the plugin, along with the date, the version, and details. All of the information will be saved in custom fields created with MetaBox. Before going ahead, let's check which tools are needed for this practice. First, we need the MetaBox plugin to have a framework for creating custom fields to save the updated information. You can download it directly from WordPress.org. We also need some extensions from MetaBox to have some advanced features. You can install them individually or just use MetaBox all-in-one to have them all. In this practice, we will use these extensions. MetaBox Builder to have a UI on the backend to create custom fields visually. MetaBox Group to group the fields together for better organization. It's just optional. And we'll use bricks to build the page. When all of the tools are activated, let's dive in step by step. This page will be used to display the timeline, so we should have it first. Go to Pages and create a new one as usual. I will create some fields to add content about the timeline for the page. One is to set the date that regulates the order of the content on the timeline. And one is to set the post that includes the content that we want to show. They will go along together. So, I put them into a group. Now, create them by going to MetaBox, Custom Fields. As mentioned, I'll add the group field. Inside this group, add subfields following the structure I indicated. The first one is for the time. MetaBox supports several fields for time and date. Just choose a suitable one in your case. For illustration purposes, I choose the date picker field here. Another subfield is for the detailed update. Normally, you may use some basic fields to save the version and change information. But it's in a simple case only. For others, we usually have posts to put into the timeline. So, we should use the post field. It allows us to choose a post from the regulated post type to have their content. This option may be more optimal for saving time, especially in the case you have available posts. There are no special settings for these two subfields. But for the group, I set this group as collapsible to see all changes in a clear structure. Also, we should set a title for the group to easily identify the content of each point on the timeline. You can see there are some suggestions to choose from. This is to number the item. This is to set the name based on the date of release. This is to set the name of the group based on the title of the post. Choose one as you want. There is certainly more than one post that we want to show on a timeline. Therefore, we should set this group as clonable. It's a kind of must-have setting. This one is optional. It allows you to rearrange the posts. Absolutely, it's based on the group title. In this case, it's the date. So the post will be sorted by the date that you set for it. After creating the fields and having reasonable settings, move to the Settings tab, choose Location as Post Type, and select Page. Then, go to the Advanced Location Rules section below and choose the page we used for the timeline to apply these fields to it. We've set the content showing on the timeline from blog posts or any custom post type in your case. So, we should have some posts in those post types. I've had some posts as you can see here. Now, go to the page editor. You will see the created fields. Just choose the date. And in this field, you can see a list including all the posts from the post type that you set for this field. Choose one now. To add more points for the timeline, click on this button to set the new date and content. In the next step, we will display this information on the page using bricks. Let's edit the page with bricks. Add a section element to cover all the content of the page. There is an available container. We'll add some elements inside this container to display the timeline information. Also, for demonstration purposes, I skipped displaying the title of the page. Do it as usual if you want. So first, add a div element. I use it to set a query to specify that we will get content from the clonable group that we use to insert content for the page. Now, inside this div, just add some elements to get data from two subfields of the group. To display the date of each point, add a basic text element. Use the Select Dynamic Data button. Then choose the subfield that saves the date information. You also can add some characters to stipulate the format of the date output. Next, add another div to cover the details of the content for each point. We use the basic text element as well to get data saved in the post field. Also, click on this button to choose the subfield for getting data from. But it returns only the title of the posts. If you want to show both the title and content of each post, we should add a PHP function for the output data. Bricks supports that, so you can do it so easily. We'll use this function. And this is the ID of the field we use to get posts from. We still need to modify this one a little bit. Also, add this attribute to get the value of the field instead of the title only. You see, the post content is displayed immediately. That's done. Now, view the page on the front end. You will see all the information is ready. To have a better look for the timeline, back to the page editor with bricks, and change the settings of each element, or add some CSS to style it in your own way. First, I add a div element. This will be used to have the points on the timeline. Also, it seems like the content here is a bit long. So, we should have a read more button in each post content to make the timeline clearer and more decent. Add a button element inside. I'll set the action for this button after customizing other elements. Stay tuned. Now, let's beautify the layout of the timeline. There might be a line in the timeline to show the flow of time. So, I set a border for this div element to have it. I'm setting the max height for the section displaying each post content, to limit the area for each of them. Then, hide all the content that overflows the area. Each post displays shorter content now. Next, I'll draw the points on the timeline. Last one, the Read More button. I'm creating some classes for it. This is for the button. And this is for the content. They will be used to regulate action in JavaScript. Now, to add an action for the button, add a code element. Then, add these lines of code. In there, this line is to declare the JavaScript library, which allows to run the JavaScript below. This is to recognize when visitors click on the button. This is the class 1 created for the button before. When the button is clicked, this line will run. It helps you show or hide the full content. I mean, this class will be added to the basic text element via this class, since it's the class 1 set for this basic text element. It helps to show all the content. And, when you click the button one more time, the class will be removed. The content will return to the shortened format. Along with the change of content, the label on the button also needs to change using this part of code. When the content is in the full version, the button will turn from read more to read less, and vice versa. That's all. On the front end, you can see the new look of the timeline after styling. The button also works well. So, what do you think? Is this tutorial useful for you? If you want to dig in more interesting topics, please watch other videos on this channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to us for more tutorials. Bye.